Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Dustin, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about how Jaclyn Hill just recently went on the Full Coverage podcast with Manny MUA and Laura Lee. And in this podcast, Jaclyn Hill did exactly what she normally does, and she tried to rewrite history. So I wanted to come on here after many of you asked me to respond and react to this and give you guys exactly what you wanted. So if you guys are here for that, stay tuned to this video. Now, before we get into this video, I want to say that I haven't been keeping up with Jaclyn Hill. I don't know what is going on with her or what has been going on with her, but I did just pop over to her channel briefly to look and see what was going on and what was the last video that she posted. And I want to say that Jaclyn Hill looks good. Whatever Jaclyn Hill is doing is working because she looks just like she did in like 2017, and I was blown away. But aside from that, let's get into this Full Coverage podcast.
Speaking of your businesses, let's dive into and talk about you closed all three businesses. So you went from 3 businesses to no businesses. What is that like? What have you learned? Tell us about that.
Why'd
experiences. Why'd you do it? What is the experience?
I'm curious. I was like, why'd you do that? Like, why do you close your businesses?
Okay, so it's a very simple answer. I closed my businesses because I was so severely depressed.
Yeah.
It was the main contributor to me drinking, to my unhealthy lifestyle. It was so depressing. And the biggest piece of it that is...
Are we really supposed to believe that Jaclyn Hill made the decision to close Jaclyn Cosmetics? I wish that they would have been a little bit more specific, because this allows her to just weasel her way out of that question. If you know, you know.
So hard to admit and say out loud as I was not meant to be a boss. Like, I was not meant to be a CEO. When I was designed, that was not God's intention for me.
Do you feel like you
Guys, this video's over, folks. Like, she just admitted everything right there. Like, what the hell is the world coming to? I cannot believe this. Jaclyn Hill finally admitted that she is not a boss babe. I'm shocked. I'm taken aback. I have no words.
You weren't meant to be a CEO, and maybe one day you're meant to be one, or are you just kind of like,
no, I never want to be a CEO.
I love that for you.
Ever. And now I know, and I've learned, and I'm so grateful that, in my young 30s, I know that. But, and it's like so difficult because, obviously I was like one of the OGs, right? On YouTube. And it's like, that's just kind of like what we did. It's like, oh my God, she's going to launch her own brand one day. And that was always my dream. Like, even when I was broke as hell with no YouTube in sight, before that even became a thing, like, I dreamt about how cool it would be.
When you were walking up to the Sephora or the Ulta that didn't exist, that was your dream then? Okay, girl. Okay.
To create my own makeup. I did not dream about managing people.
Oh,
I did not dream.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like,
that's
I did
like
not.
creating the makeup is like this much of owning a business, and then the rest of it is just a crapshoot.
The POs,
the POs, and the ROI and the investments. It's just like, oh.
I am so sorry to keep interrupting, but this is really getting on my nerves. This comes across to me as like so ungrateful, because, dude, they know how lucky they are to even be able to do social media for a living, let alone have a social media following and a brand that they were able to build because they had a social media following. Do you know how many people have those same dreams? Do you know how many people that have those same dreams as these people that would actually be honest and to even remotely complain after you guys see the lifestyle that they all get to live? It kind of like really gets under my skin pretty bad.
Oh my, and it's so much. And then it's like, right now in the moment, you're already working on, winter of next year, and you can't even live in the moment. You can't celebrate your accomplishments because you're already over there. And it's like, there's just so much that there's so much that I did not dream about. And once I opened up my businesses, I was like, I think I just thought it was going to be like a dreamland. And I don't want to name names. I'm not going to, but I've talked to so many other people who do what we do in this industry, and they're just like, girl, this is fucking miserable. Why did I start?
I wonder if she's talking about Jeffrey, because we all remember he was really trying to hawk Jaclyn Roxanne there for a while, wearing that one earring that turned his ear green. So I wonder who exactly she's talking about, because it has to be somebody that owns a makeup brand. Is it Carly Bible? Is it Jeffree Star? Like, who is it? Who do you guys think that she could be talking about?
A lot of us, such as myself, the OGs, kind of got pushed into it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's
Or you're almost expected to do it.
Got pushed into it. This annoys me so bad, because are we supposed to just sit here and pretend like she didn't just string these people along for years? Like, she didn't hint that she was going to come out with this brand for years? Did she not say that she wasn't going to sell out when she made this brand for years? Are we just supposed to forget all of that? And here's the kicker. Like, I want to like Jaclyn Hill so bad. I like her style. I like her ability to influence. She just uses it in all the wrong fucking ways. And it gets on my nerves so bad.
And
Yeah.
It's like your trajectory.
Yes, and we were making so much money, and our collaborations were going so well. So it's like, obviously, I'm going to invest in myself.
Of course.
Because you're
Right. The best
making these
investment.
other businesses multimillionaires, but not so much yourself, but like they're eating all of your profits from your name. So it's like it only makes sense to do it
Plus
yourself.
collabs. You do collabs because like you maybe can come out with your own brand, and like
And
that's
then
what
the
gives you that
collabs
thing.
were the teaser.
Yeah.
Because
The teaser.
the collabs made me feel like, oh, I can do anything because all I had to do was the product portion. And the product portion is what you dream about. It's so much fun. Like create.
So she's saying all she had to do, listen, you guys, because I watched part of this and I was like, oh my God, I have to react to this. I cannot sit here and not react to this. They're going to get into this and they're basically going to tell you what they do when they collab with brands, when they come out with palettes. And they're going to tell you how easy it is. And keep in mind that every time Jaclyn Hill has came out with a product, she says that she's worked on it for at least 2 to 3 years. But she's sitting here admitting that it's easy as her picking out some things and hanging out in the lab for a few days. Listen to this.
Because that's all you do pretty much with the collab. Just the easy
You do
part.
the easy part.
The product portion, you know, working with Becca and working with Sigma and all my collaborations
Yes.
and Morphe, like, oh my God, it's such a good time. You get to sit in the lab and just be like, I love this, I want this a little bit warmer, I want this a little bit more cool tone. And it's
Yep.
like, that's it, thanks so much, bye.
Yep.
God bless. So
Yes.
that-
But that wasn't the story she was telling everybody when it took her 2 years to come out with that first palette, and then how it got reformulated, and then the vault and all of that different shit. Like, hello, like, I don't think that these people, when they do these podcasts, think about what they're saying and how it can be perceived, or they think that people online have forgotten. Newsflash, buddy, we haven't.
Oh, God
Forever.
bless.
Delusion.
Delusions
Oh
of
my
grandeur.
gosh, but it was just so, you get pulled in so many directions and you're being taken away from content because it's like office days, non-stop
That
office days.
kills me. It kills me.
And then your followers miss you, and then it's like, okay, and then you only get on to sell something, and then it's like, okay, Jaclyn QVC, thanks for coming back just to
Right.
sell us another product.
I love that Jaclyn Hill is so self-aware. And for Laura Lee to say it kills her to do office work, you don't have to own a brand. That is something you did under your own volition as a social media influencer. You took it upon yourself, Laura Lee Los Angeles, to make your brand. So why would you get on the internet and complain about it? I literally cannot stand that. That, like, you will never, when our brand comes out, ever see me do that. That's fucking crazy.
And it's like, and then I had 3 businesses, so it's like I had to launch every week.
yeah.
Right.
Because you're having to sustain the 3 businesses.
It was so much.
But then you're too depressed to make other content not about your businesses because you're like obligated to do what you have to do for the businesses.
So
it's this real,
depressed.
again, it's like a weird vicious cycle.
Yeah.
With like
And-
even having a brand.
You know, and it's this is such a sensitive subject for me, but I'll talk about it without crying, and that's gonna be like a green
feat.
check mark
Yes.
for me because I'm not gonna cry. But it came to the point where I was just so depressed and so miserable. My older brother, he's the one who was just like, "What do you want?
Yeah.
Like, here you are, you're getting married." Okay, you're entering this new chapter of your life. My family just loves and adores Jordan so much. Like, he came in genuinely as like my partner, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you know, thinking about you and Jordan getting married, like, take everything out of it. Don't think about taking care of your family. Don't think about what the internet's gonna say about you. Like, take all, like, fuck everything except for what do you want? It's like the scene in The Notebook.
No, literally, what do you want?
What do you want? And when my brother came to me and said that, he's like, because if I were you, I would just want to quit it all. I'd want to walk away.
Wow.
And I just sat in that and soaked in that thought, like, what is it that I want? Because the thing that, my driver was always taking care of my friends and family.
Absolutely.
I will say this. I talk a lot about how Jaclyn fucks up and a lot of the things that Jaclyn Hill has done. But I do honestly believe without any doubt that Jaclyn Hill loves her family more than she loves anything. I really do believe that about Jaclyn Hill. If she has not lied about one thing, it's been her family. She loves her family.
hired people and created positions for people, and I've always wanted to take care of everybody. So I'm like, okay, I got to keep this thing going because like I want to just overpay everyone. You know what I mean? And when I finally just decided to be selfish for a second and be like, what do I want? I was like, I don't want any of this. I don't want any of it. I don't want to be a CEO. I don't care anymore if people.
She sure wanted it when she stole the name Cozy. She wanted it then. Did she not? She wanted Jaclyn Roxanne when she was ripping off these other brands that she had bought for years and then copied them. She wanted it then. Like,
people think of me as a boss bitch or not. I'm done. I don't want this. I was so miserable. So it's like I made that decision. I stopped drinking, and then this weight came off me, and here I am, moved across the country.
Wow.
And it's just a breath of fresh air.
Honestly.
So how much happier are you now without the weight of these? I couldn't imagine, but
Girl.
Like, is it night and day?
Is it night and day?
I've never been this happy in my entire life. I feel like a kid, but like, I just like a kid that doesn't have rules. Like I get to do whatever I want.
I love it.
I'm so
because the responsibilities
happy.
are not the same.
I'm so happy. And like also there's something to be said about the fact that being a content creator is such a big job. People are like, what are you doing for business now?
If you do it correctly,
this is it, baby.
If you do it correctly,
that's
it
a
is
full time.
more than 40-hour week job. If it's done correctly.
It's a very successful job. It's a difficult job.
Let's be so fucking for real for a minute. And I'm not saying this to be shady, because there's been times in my career as a YouTuber where I will go for periods of time and not upload. I get it. Life happens, right? But are we really going to pretend too that Jaclyn Hill ever really had a dedicated like schedule for posting? Jaclyn Hill got to a point where she would only upload when she had something to sell, or to mention that she was going to have something to sell coming very soon. So I just don't get the notion that Jaclyn Hill ever had an upload schedule and she was ever stringent about posting content, because she's never been consistent ever in her career. I think the most consistent she's been is this Jaclyn Hill journey thing, and that's just like recent in the past like year or two, right?
But it is a job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but it's like it's what I did before my businesses, and then I created businesses, and then that's when all my scandals happened. Clearly, I'm not good at it.
You're like, I suck. It's fun.
I love that she's self-aware. I do think that Jaclyn Hill could laugh at some of the things that have happened, but some of the things that Jaclyn Hill has done to some of these people, some of the people that she stepped on her way up, the stories are not pretty. They're not funny. Like, look what she did to Marlena, just for example, just one. I always think about Marlena when I think about Jaclyn Hill. It gets on my nerves.
I'm fine with admitting it. I can admit it. I'm not good at it.
You know,
I
I never posted my hairy lipsticks.
Oh, I love you, Laura.
I said, no. I
still have mine.
Because listen,
I love you.
I don't still have
I have one.
He's over there picking.
I literally saw it. I was like,
You know what? I don't agree with Laura Lee on much, but you know what? Good looking out. At least Laura was being a friend during one of the biggest scandals that she could have jumped on and really threw Jaclyn Hill under the bus and really probably got some of her subscribers back, because that would have been after she got canceled. I mean, she could have done that, but she didn't. And I'm shocked.
like,
listen, I owned a makeup business I still do, but that happened, I owned a makeup business, and I just thought, if this shit happened to me and like my fellow peers were gonna make videos to wreck my ass, like that would have broken me more than the hairy lipsticks would have broken me. Dude. So I said, I'm literally throwing them in the trash, and I'm not addressing it, I'm not talking about it, I'm not showing it, I'm not magnifying it, I'm not finding hairs in it. I'm respecting a female business owner, because if this shit happened to me.
I really just want to apologize. Whoever edits this fucking podcast for Laura, if it's her or if it's Tyler, you have way too many camera angles. You should pick 2 or 3 and stick with them. This shit where you're doing all this zooming in and zooming out and all that, please stop that. Please fucking stop that. That is so annoying.
Not take the bite.
Thank you. You have no idea how much that means.
Oh, I know exactly what that means to you, because when I saw it happening, I was like, "What? This sucks."
Yeah,
like,
it sucks.
Well,
I mean, we've experienced things
that have gone awry, you know, in creating product. And so I was just like, I'm going to do it.
Fuck, like, are Laura and Manny going to allow Jaclyn Hill to speak, or are they just going to talk over her, or are they going to ask her questions and allow her to answer them? Because I feel like Laura and Manny are talking a whole fucking lot. Can we put the camera back on Jaclyn? Did you not have Jaclyn on here to talk to you guys about her? Not you to her about you guys.
to her as I would pray someone would do unto me.
Yes. And what's crazy is that there were several different people who made videos about me during the lipsticks, and
Baby, they come out of the woodworks.
they came out of the woodwork and they got a lot of views and a lot of attention.
I swear whoever edits this shit for them needs to be fired, but I feel like they were talking about Raw Beauty Christie here because maybe she reached out to her, and we all know that Raw Beauty Christie was the one that dragged Jaclyn Hill to hell with that microscope during Lipstick Gate. She basically kicked it all off, and if my memory serves me correctly, I know that Jaclyn Hill maybe this time last year threw shade at Raw Beauty Christie, and she mentioned how people were even dragging out microscopes when it comes to her makeup. So maybe it's her that Jaclyn Hill's talking about. I would not be surprised because Raw Beauty Christie is a phony.
That was the hardest thing I've ever been through my entire life. Ever.
Yeah.
Through like the loss that I've been through and the deaths and everything. That my lipstick scandal was the hardest thing I've ever been through.
Can relate.
I appreciate
Can
people
relate.
like
Can
you
relate.
so
Can
much.
relate.
Can relate,
I know
truly.
you
I
can.
don't know. I feel like there's almost kinship with a lot of creators who have been through
Right?
really big situations or cancellations or something, and like I might not relate 100%.
Manny, what the hell? You've been friends with people that have been through cancellation. You were part of the first mass cancellation in social media history. Be so fucking for real, Manny. Be so for real. Like, you're so far removed from that. You don't know. You don't remember. You and your co-host were both part of that. You both got canceled in a drama that people still talk about in 2024.
On like the situations, because everyone's situations is different.
You know,
but you can relate on the way of like everyone
Of what
feeling like the
happens
world's
to
against
them.
you and what
the world
happens
goes
to them.
against them. Millions of people go against you. Everybody in the world is against you, and that
Literally.
feeling is a feeling.
It's a
that
crazy feeling. And you can't feel it.
You know what it feels like to me is like when you're a little kid and you're sitting on your bed and your mom comes in, your dad comes in, and they're upset with you and they're reprimanding you, and you're just like, oh my God.
This editing is killing me. Killing me. This is the first and the last time, unless they have some real big tea, that I will ever react to Manny and Laura's full coverage podcast in this way, unless it's just them two. This,
And you feel like the world's biggest piece of shit.
Yep.
It feels like that, except you have like 6,000 people in your bedroom, like just all
6,000?
just
No.
reprimanding you.
Hundreds of
1
thousands.
million.
Hundreds of thousands.
1 million. An auditorium.
It feels genuinely like you are, Megan Fox was talking about it on the Call Her Daddy pod about how like when if you were to see a woman getting beat up on the side of the road, your instant instinct would be run over and like help her. But instead online, the instant instinct is to just run over and join in. And that's how it feels. Like it just feels like the whole world is just beating you up. And
They
in the
are.
moment, like you look back at how you handle all of these cancellations, if you will, and it's never how you would have liked to handle it, right?
In your sane mind.
In your
You're
sane
like
mind.
me
'Cause
right here.
in that moment, you cannot think.
You're not
No.
well.
For me, I just always relied on everybody else. Like, tell me what to do. What do I do? Because it's like, it's just so hard. It's like, there's no lessons to learn in the moment.
None.
You learn your
None.
lessons after it's over.
Yes.
Well, when you're in the flames of it too, like you don't want to stoke the flame because at the end of the day, like you're on fire. And saying
Literally.
anything just blows wind on that
does.
fire.
Literally.
But you don't
Emily.
realize it.
let's not forget when Manny made a false copyright claim on T-Spill. I still have not forgotten that either. All of these people, Manny, Laura, Jaclyn, all sitting up here complaining about what it's like to be canceled, are not thinking about what they did to get themselves in that fucking position. And that is what is really annoying to me. It's like they completely forget what they did. And these are the same people that used to drag drama channels like myself, and now they do nothing but drama channel content. This is why these people, specifically Manny and Laura, they get on my nerves.
You don't realize it at the time because how I always see it too, like dealing with cancellations, when you're a creator who has a lot going on and something like that happens, your world stops and you're like, I don't even know what to do because I've been so focused on this, and this. How am I supposed to focus on this and what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yep.
How?
Yep.
How am I supposed to do that? I don't even know how. I can't manage this.
Yep.
Especially like back then, like, so I feel like we were like one of the first in the beauty community to be canceled.
The big ones.
And the big ones in the
Logan
beauty?
Paul, we were the first ones
In the
in beauty
beauty?
to get it. Logan Paul was the first one to
Like,
get
big,
it.
big. That was
like
crazy.
The
Like,
Suicide Forest.
yes.
We came in hot like a year after him with
In
like the
beauty.
second biggest, and we were in beauty.
Yeah.
And so it was like fresh.
We
and
didn't know
new.
what to
You
do.
were pretty new too. Like it was still pretty
Oh, yeah,
fresh.
To me, is so weird because Laura is speaking in a position as if like Jaclyn Hill was not aware of what happened during Dramageddon 1. Like she didn't know that all these people were getting canceled. Jaclyn Hill had her own thing going on too, because I feel like Dramageddon happened first and then the lipstick happened, but I know it was very close together. So I'm sure that Jaclyn Hill totally knew what was going on. And it's just weird to see Laura speak from a place like Jaclyn Hill doesn't have any idea of what was going on and what her and Manny were doing at that point in time.
Oh yeah, it's fresh.
Like, there was like a
It was the year
crack
after.
there was like a crack in the earth when you guys
Yeah.
Baby.
through your
A
scandal.
crack.
2018 and then
It was
2019
in
was
the
the big scandal again,
earth.
and then 2020 another huge scandal. So it's like
I'm getting goosebumps.
no,
right now.
literally,
I'm,
because
like,
it's so
reliving it.
crazy.
Like,
Because it's like we did, but that's what I'm saying is like we don't like you don't know what to do in those moments because you just want to make things better and you want people to
You
understand
can't.
where you're coming from, but
They
they
don't want to.
And
They
it's
don't
so
want to
hard, but at the end
understand.
of the day, like we're all good people, right?
Right.
And that's something that I had to work through for so long to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be like, you are a good person.
Oh my God.
Because I lost myself to the media for such
Me
a long
too.
time
Me
that
too.
I didn't even know who I was. Like,
Me
who
too.
am I? I don't know.
This takes me back to Gabby Hanna. If you have to say that you're a good person, I'm not saying that you can't say that you're a good person and not be a good person, but most likely if you're a good person, you don't have to go around saying it. Just a thought. I don't know. I could be wrong. But then again, I may not be. And I don't think I am.
No, I don't know what I stand for. I don't know who I am at this point, right? So it's like I finally can look in the mirror and be like, you are a good person, and anything that you're going to get canceled for is a mistake that you made because you're human.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Like, I'm not going to get canceled for doing something genuinely fucked up because I'm
You got canceled for stealing the whole name of a brand, pretended as if you didn't know exactly what the fuck that brand was. Like this person didn't have throws and stuff. You took the whole name. You did the same thing with the Face Master brand, Jaclyn, with Morphe. You tried to steamroll somebody. You left Marlena Stell with almost $1 million worth of product. Okay?
I'm not
Yeah.
a fucked up person. Like, I'm a good person with good intentions, and I'm gonna make mistakes. It's just my mistakes are gonna be magnified because of the fact that I'm
On my
followers.
presence.
Totally.
Same
Yep.
with you, and so it was so hard to watch you guys go through what you went through because here, people like me know you're good people, and it's like this is oh my god.
It's,
And I almost
all
Liars protecting liars. That's what this is on this day.
like go into
intention.
all those people's lives who are talking their shit and be like,
What have
I
y'all
want,
done?
I want to know what your boss thinks
By the
about
way,
you.
yeah.
baby,
What do your
please.
coworkers
Yeah.
think about you?
Yeah.
No, it's the truth. It's so
It's like
So
we
true.
could all be canceled, right?
everyone on this earth, anyone even watching right now, I'm sure you've done things that if they were
Yes.
magnified would not be seen as okay.
We've all been assholes. We've all made mistakes.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
It's so true. It's so
Yes.
normal. And it's like, you don't, at the time, I feel like I for sure felt like I was losing myself at the time because I was canceled for being like a bad friend.
I know.
And like people were like, oh my God, you're just a bad friend. And I was literally like, am I a bad friend? So then you go into like a deep like wormhole of like, who am I as a friend? Like, am I a good person? Like, did I hurt this person? Why did I hurt them? And then you start to like really start to go.
Manny thinks that it's just one situation where he was canceled for being a bad friend because he would want you to believe that it's only Jeffrey that he's talking about. But let's not forget what he did to Patrick Starr. Let's not forget that, Manny. Like, how am I the only person that remembers this?
Go literally crazy. And then I went to therapy too because I was like, baby, is something wrong with me?
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like, there's not, but then there's like things you could have done better in situations.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which you learn
And then
along the way.
And then you learn how to take accountability for the things that you do need to take accountability
Absolutely.
for. But in the moment, you
You
don't even know
cannot.
what
You
what am I
cannot.
accountable for?
I mean, they're coming at you at all
You're trying to
angles.
build a fire. You're like, oh my god.
Where's this rain?
I'm accountable. Okay. No,
I'm like,
seriously.
I'll deal with me later. Like,
So that's what you
my
do.
God.
So
You
true.
deal with the inside later, but you're like, I'm just trying to, because the thing is, you build this world, and you're so scared it's taken away so quickly.
I know.
Like,
You lose it overnight in a
Lose it overnight.
cancellation too. And I will say, like you were saying, like your fears and doubts and your demons dealing with the aftermath was like, I am a good person. You know, just because people online have told me for years and years I'm not, I am a good person. Mine was not being worthy. So because I was like, I got canceled for this, so I'll never get this opportunity. I'll never be able to
Right.
do this. I'll never be able to do that. I'm like,
yes.
oh my God, so many amazing things have happened in my career, and I was so dead wrong about
Yeah.
all of that. I really was.
really
No, and you
Like,
literally are
I
like,
was so
even
wrong.
My favorite part of this podcast is where Manny and Laura will not let Jaclyn Hill get a word in edgewise. Do you guys see how it keeps cutting back to Manny and Laura? Like, they will not shut up. This is a horrible way to produce a podcast. Do you guys agree with me? I feel like this is a genuine, like, critique. This is bad. The fact that everything continually comes back to Manny and Laura when the guest is Jaclyn Hill, they haven't got this amount of views on a podcast, and I couldn't tell you how long. This has 132,000 views. People wanted Jaclyn Hill. not Manny and Laura. Can we get more of Jaclyn Hill, please?
Better now.
But my big thing was like, I didn't feel worthy anymore. I was like, well, I'm trash of the internet. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm deemed in, I'm just thrown in and I'm just trash of the internet and I'm never going to get cool opportunities anymore. And then it took some time, you know, it took some time.
It does.
It takes time. It takes time. And honestly, my manager and team told me that. They were like, you're literally fucking killing it. And like, it just takes time. And like, and now like I've had some of the best, coolest opportunities. Like Dr. Pepper worked with me. Dr. Pepper didn't work with me before I was canceled.
No.
That happened after. You know what I mean? So it's like I've had some of the coolest moments of my entire career happen to me after cancellation. So, but my big thing, like you were saying, like I'm a good person. Mine was like not feeling worthy. It's crazy.
Which is so sad.
It's
we all have
so
our
sad.
thing. We all have a thing that we feel like to your core that you hold latch onto. That you're like, am I a good person? Am I a good friend? Am I worthy? Like you have these like one things that become like, oh my god, it's giving me inside out. Where like a core thing happens. I'm like a subconscious belief. Like you subconsciously believe that, and then you have to rework.
You have to rewire.
Yeah, you have to rewire yourself to be like, no, I'm not, and you have to like constantly work at that. And it's crazy, but I agree. Like we have all done amazing things post.
Every one of us.
100%.
All of us.
Every one of us.
Like that's so cool. Like that we've been able to learn from things. And like, what do you feel like has been?
He's saying all this, but just a moment ago, earlier in this video, they were complaining about having to go to the office and do what it takes to actually run a brand. And that is what confuses me so much about these people. They have had so many opportunities. I wish I had even just one opportunity like these people have had. I will never get that, but people that do shit to people and people that hurt other people and people that are just awful fucking people get rewarded over and over and fucking over again. Hollywood is wild. I'll say that.
And one of your biggest life lessons post cancellation, what have you feel like you've learned?
Okay, so that's such an amazing question because okay, here we go. I'm gonna get deep, but like I was just saying, you don't learn anything in the moment, right? There is no lesson to be learned in the middle of a cancellation.
Nope.
You know, it's like, oh my god,
it's fight or flight.
It's
fight
or flight.
You're trying to stay afloat in water.
Yes.
You're drowning. You're trying to stay afloat.
Yes. So the biggest life lesson that I learned amidst my cancellations that I say I apply to myself on a weekly basis is genuinely how to love myself. And I know that sounds corny,
not at all.
But in those moments, you've got one of two things. You either have people who are like your friends who become instant yes men, or you have people who hate you and are going to hate you no matter what. So it's like you've got people telling you you're a piece of shit and how awful you are. And then you've got people who are like, fuck them, you're amazing, you can do anything. And it's like neither of those things are really helpful. So it's 100%. Like amidst anything now that I go through, big or small, I've learned how to stop and check in and be like, I don't need the opinions of even Jordan. Like,
right.
What?
Okay. One, I'm glad that they finally allowed Jaclyn Hill to speak since they invited her on this podcast to speak. But I actually kind of like what Jaclyn Hill is saying here. I kind of do. I'm kind of living for it. Maybe she actually did get therapy and maybe it did help her because I kind of agree with this.
What is my opinion? How do I feel about this decision that I made? How because tonight I'm sleeping with me. These strangers on the internet, they're not getting in my bed and sleeping with me. Right? They don't even know me.
Right.
Like, how do I feel about this? Does this align with my moral compass? And if the answer is yes.
I could have left that one out and I would have probably agreed with everything you had to say here because I don't think that we should listen to the opinions of other people about ourselves and things like that to an extent, unless you're doing things to harm people. But you could have left that part out, sis.
Yes, then I don't really care what the internet has to say.
There you go.
And
that's
that's
such an
it.
awesome lesson. That's actually like a lesson in one of my self-development books. It talks about being able to validate your own feelings without needing other people to validate them for you. Like, I feel this way about the situation, so I don't think I'm going to talk to her anymore. What do you think? It's like, no. You have to get to a place where you're like, this doesn't align with my moral compass. This person, you know, or whatever the situation may be, and be able to stand strong in your decisions, your feelings, and what you're going to have.
The whole moral compass talk for all these people is bizarre. I don't know what else to say here, truthfully, because I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but Manny and Laura were literally texting Thomas Halbert trying to get information about Jeffree Star while he was in Jeffree Star's house. That's weird. Moral compass where? Jaclyn Hill stealing from a brand called Face Master, Cozy, all of that, everything with the whole lie with the vegan palette and the vault and the mold and all of that. Moral compass where?
Have in and out of your life.
And that's
Ooh,
that.
That's just hard too. As a growing up people pleaser, that shit's hard.
Oh, it's hard.
Because I've gotten into that in the past several years, being like, no, I'm gonna think what I think, and I don't care what anyone thinks about what I think.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to learn that lesson when you've grown up, like let's say a certain way, or like you want validation,
it's trusting your intuition, trusting your own feelings. It's such a hard thing to do, but it's so important in growth.
I'm sorry. I cannot sit here anymore and listen to Manny and Laura try to give life advice to Jaclyn Hill. It's literally 3 people that have really made bad decisions as social media influencers giving each other terrible fucking advice.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, you can't grow without it.
And anything can be done, and anything can be said with love, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
I love you, but no.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely. Oh, I love to do that.
Yeah.
I love to be like, listen, but I love you. But I love you, and I'm telling you this with love.
Jaclyn's like, I find it very interesting that you're a people pleaser with everyone but me.
Jaclyn's like, when have you pleased me?
You have never people pleased me.
When have you pleased me?
You have never people pleased me.
Manny's the realest we got. I love it so much.
Manny's a people pleaser until it comes to Jaclyn.
Shit. When I sent you voice notes one night last year, I just straight up was like, do you think I should check out Jaclyn Cosmetics?
It's true. She literally did. She literally did.
Okay. This is where we're going to stop because I literally cannot take any more of them. And we all know that Jaclyn Hill probably had no idea that Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics was closing because she was not, in fact, the owner. She was not the CEO that she led you to believe because on the paperwork, she wasn't making no executive decisions when it came to that brand. Jaclyn Hill was the face of Jaclyn Cosmetics. So for her to say, do you think I should shut Jaclyn Cosmetics down in a podcast with Manny MUA? You don't think that that's contrived? I feel like that's contrived. And I feel like it's her yet again trying to rewrite history when we already know what happened. But with that said, you guys, if you made it this far in this video and you did enjoy it, please let me know that by liking the video and leave me the sun emoji because it is hot as hell, you guys. When I was outside filming Nick's video with him today, I thought that I was going to melt. But as always, you guys, please don't forget to let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I hope you all have an amazing day and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.